Hello, Soul Tribe. This is Crystal with Crystal Loves Alchemy. Welcome. I hope that you're doing well this morning or this evening or this afternoon, whenever you're listening to this message. I feel called to speak about shadow energy. The shadow. What does that mean exactly? Now, I'm purposely making this dark, this video, to represent I think the interpretation of the shadow, dark, gray, hidden, a mirror image, perhaps sometimes it's thought to be. The shadow is a mirror, definitely, but I want to take the negative energy off of shadow. At least in my experience, my initial experience working with the shadow, when I first learned about it and was going through my waves of moving through energy, denial or not even knowing that I was healing something for years and having the pattern surface over and over again, and then realizing, oh, I am the common denominator. I need to look at this, and perhaps there's an answer here. So, how I look at shadow now is very positively. There's no fear involved. It's just a matter of fact. It's like when you walk down the street, especially on a particular day when the sun's shining and you hit a certain area, you're going to see your shadow. How do you interpret the shadow as far as your work, and how does it factor into your healing work? You don't have to go into in depth, but does that speak to you? Because it's coming up really strongly. Like I'm speaking to individuals specifically who understand the shadow in terms of light, and then I'm speaking of it in terms of healing the deeper aspects of yourself, of your id, of your ego personality, of your soul, getting deep into it. If you're a seeker, then you've been on this path for a long time. And I'm talking about going back to childhood when you started to, your brain started thinking about this. Like, what does that mean? You'd look up at the sky a lot. What does it, what, what does that light mean on the cloud? Like, I hear you asking that question. And then as you started to get deeper into your healing practice, reading about certain things, being called to certain individuals who resonated with you, that you were able to extract or extrapolate information to help you on your own path. Then you started to work with the shadow. And there are specific people who are very good at that in various communities that market themselves, or I don't want to say market, I was looking for a better word, but advertise themselves, I guess it's the same thing, as helping people with their shadow. So that's the introduction of kind of bringing that to the surface and looking at it. You might have felt something when I brought it up. Did you feel a jolt in your body? Did you say, this isn't for me, and wanted to turn it off? Don't turn it off, because that's actually a good sign, a good indication that this may just be the communication for you. If you feel any sort of apprehension or irritation as I'm talking about this is definitely your message. Hang in there. It's not always going to be feeling cozy and warm and wow, how did you know this? And this speaks to me. Sometimes when the message is for you, it doesn't feel like it's for you. And I just had my whole feet start vibrating when I said that. So this has a lot to do with grounding. This message is communication about, take a moment to take a deep breath, inhale through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. You know how to do it. I'll give you a moment to take a couple of deep breaths, especially for those where you're feeling a little irritable already, or you feel space or you feel like you're leaving your body. So ground yourself. Here we are. And then Drop a grounding cord down from the base of your spine into the center of the planet. And that's a good way to stay grounded. Just a reminder. There's so many ways to do this. If that doesn't resonate, do use your method. Shadow work, shadow, darkness, bringing something to light. I am countering this with saying that the shadow is always with you. The shadow is not bad. The shadow is merely some aspect of yourself that you're unaware of, but you are aware of it. If hello, I just threw a wrench in there, didn't I? If you're a psychic, if you're a creative, if you're an intuitive, if you work with energy, if you've been aware of yourself since you were a child, relative to how you learned how to walk in the world, the messages that you received, you were already countering them. That doesn't feel right to me. I'm going to be polite and just listen, but I'm going to journal this, or I'm going to, and yeah, you were that advanced that when you were 7 years old or 8 years old or whenever you learned to write, you had a journal. I see you writing things down. Yes, if this is particularly for you, if that made you laugh and you're resonating with that, this is for you. So you were already working with shadow energy. You're a master at it. Shadow. So for those of you who are running into like this wall, literally, I see a brick wall. When you hear that word and you collapse into yourself, or you shut down, or you leave your body, for those of you who just did that and you had to ground yourself, because I felt it in my feet, you've already been working with this energy. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing you're going to uncover that's going to throw you off. Now, I'm not talking about psychology. I'm not talking about anything that would be working on the logical side of your brain, your analyzer, or anything like that. This is all spirit. This is soul information I'm conveying right now. You're intelligent. I'm intelligent. We're intelligent in this soul tribe. So we have a tendency to think and analyze and look at things. So we're experiencing something and then we look at it like, what does that mean? What should I do with that? Oh, that's interesting. That happened to me when I was 10, and on and on. So when you're working with shadow work going forward, when you hear that word, if it triggers you, just sit and breathe, ground yourself, and just let yourself be. Because what it is that you're actually triggered by is this idea that there's something wrong with you, or there's something that you don't know about yourself, that there's something ugly there. When I say ugly, I don't mean like beauty, or I mean ugly energetically, that you're not aware of. You don't want any more surprises. Okay, so first of all, that is not your energy. So I'm saying hello to this for anyone where you're, stay with me, that's resonating for you. That's not even your energy. That is some kind of program that was put in your space that, everything's sunny and beautiful all the time. We don't share our feelings, we hold them in. If you grew up in a household where you weren't able to express yourself, if you were walking on eggshells, if somebody was abusing substances, or they were working with rage, or you just learned to stay in your own corner, in your own room with the door closed, and you didn't like to interact with everyone all the time. There was love there was support to a certain degree. This is going to speak to you very directly. This is who I'm looking at right now, where you may have, when you look at shadow energy, you perceive it in this way because it's a way that you had to create shadows around yourself to protect yourself, to hide your light. Hello. Let's take a deep breath in and out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Yeah, this is wonderful. We're bringing this to the surface to transmute it. Crystal loves alchemy. You're in the right spot. Yes, so I'm going to repeat that in case you didn't hear me. You can always rewind this as well. For those of you who grew up in households where you had to stifle your emotions, not communicate your true feelings, or it wasn't demonstrated to you, or you learned to stay in your own bubble, you're highly sensitive to energy, even in childhood. You listened to music, you read, you created your own world, you were an artist, you painted, you sketched, you had a sketchbook, you were always doodling, you were a doodler, you were very creative. I see you fascinated by graphics now. Every once in a while you'll see a graphic and you'll recognize it because it's something that you doodled when you were in sixth grade, sitting at the desk. You made the exact same thing. And then you started learning about the geometry of shapes and what that means in terms of alchemy. Wow, we're getting deep now. So shadow work as related to being an alchemist and the images that you've created as an artist, especially if you doodle squares and triangles and rectangles and flowers and make beautiful things and can draw faces. I see this specifically. This is speaking to you. So the shadow, as you interpret it, the reason that it's been triggering you whenever you hear this word, it's not that you're afraid of healing work. Now, you're an advanced healer. Don't get me wrong. This is like the final frontier. It's like shadow is good. This is not your definition of shadow. This is what you had to employ. Like literally put a shadow over yourself to hide to a certain degree, but to hide your light. You were dimming your light because when you weren't conscious of this all the time. You dimmed your light so that you would draw less attention to yourself. But the ironic thing that was happening is it's sort of like turned inside out. Your light was internal more than shining out. So if you stay with me, like your aura, you somehow figured out how to flip flop your aura and turn it inside out, but you were still growing and you were developing yourself. That's why you're so psychic, so intuitive, clairaudient. All your clairs are like supersonic because of this ability. So this is actually how you alchemize energy. You do it in alternative, unconventional ways, even amongst other healers. This soul tribe is really good at this. Whether or not you have this specific experience or not, you have the ability to flip your light inside out. And you've heard, okay, I'm going to blow this up now. Wow, this is incredible. So, what I'm bringing in right now is, wow, I have to like ground my fifth chakra so I can get this out. It's not lose it because it's like a string of information coming through. Is that you've been in rooms with other healers, like doing healing work, retreats, and this comes up. Oh, you did over and over and over again. You've heard this. If somebody was reading you, if you had a tarot card reading, or another psychic is you're exchanging energy work, or you're getting a Reiki healing, whatever the healing is, you constantly heard over and over again. Oh, you dimmed your light. You dimmed your light. You dimmed your light, and it's this universal idea of dimming your light to minimize yourself around other people because of some, feeling attacked, or you were protecting yourself, or it was perceived as a negative thing. In your case, it's not a negative thing. You were alchemizing energy. You're a master alchemist. You brought this energy with you into this lifetime from, I don't know, I'm going to say on a minimal level, a minimum number to throw out there, because it is a minimum, 100,000 lifetimes you've been an alchemist, at least. But it's much, much more than that. So I don't want to blow your mind. And not just on Earth. you're like, woo. That's why you like science fiction. You are into science fiction because you are science fiction. Let's just keep that. That is another reading for another day. Stay with me. so so this is part of the issue with you finding your own information, finding your truth, alchemizing with your own information, because you're charting your own course. Even amongst other healers and healing information and this and that, you have not done it the same way. And so it's frustrating because in the mainstream world, you're not doing things the way other people do it. And even in the healing world, in the psychic world, I'll put it that way, in the alchemist world, also you're not, there's no one to relate to. Welcome. Crystal loves alchemy. I see this for the first time with myself. So thank you for allowing me to read this. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being here on earth, because I'm receiving this channel and I'm looking at this information, and this is a tremendous healing. This is a tremendous uh, level of awareness so that you can move through understanding your own information, understanding your own truth. That your truth is, you're really good at this, and if you hear something, don't take it verbatim. Oh, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but if you're listening to even me sharing this, make sure you look at this for yourself. This is what this channel is all about. I'm sharing this information, it jostles information up to the surface, and then you look at it for yourself and you take what resonates and you toss the rest. But this is designed to enhance your own healing, to share in this community, because I believe this community is a soul tribe of advanced healers who everybody puts up on a pedestal. You're also a human being walking on the earth, and you have your ups and downs, your days where you're questioning things, and there's no one to bounce this off of. I mean, there are people that you have friends, you have other intuitive people in your life, but even with them, you are put on a pedestal. So it is what it is, you know. I'm speaking the truth here. It's very blunt. You're like the sun. So what are you going to say to the sun? Turn off your light, or you're way up there, sun, and you're shining brightly on me. The sun's up there. It's a star, and it's a pretty big star, right? It's a big star. You're a big star. And so there's aspects of your divinity that you're moving through. This is what the shadow is for you. The shadow, ironically, is your light. Ooh, the reason that the shadow triggered you in the first place just bears repeating. It wasn't even your energy. It was the way that you've received this information based on what people have communicated to you over the years about dimming your light, and you accepted it because there was certain aspects where you did pull your energy back in your family unit, in your family of origin, especially in crowds, like going to concerts and things like that. But that's actually an ability to pull your aura in and protect yourself and ground your space. That is not the same thing as what I'm talking about. And that's was misinterpreted over and over and over again with how people are reading you, because they couldn't read you because you're the sun. You're literally the sun. So how can you read the sun? You can't even see it. It's blinding. So it's like people were reading you, but they were projecting their stuff onto you, not deliberately, but they were reading things, but they were reading themselves, because you're such a powerful healer that you shine so brightly that you help people heal while they're attempting to heal you. Wow, there's a lot to unpack here, and I hope it's coming through. I hope I'm communicating this. This is a part of the conundrum of your questioning. Should I continue doing this? Is this working? How come? You choose different things. So shadow is coming up for a reason right now. If you're called to this, I know you're getting a healing. I am right now sitting here. My mind is blown. I'm like, wow. So this really lines up with your life, right? How you will receive information and somebody will say something to you and you're respectful and it's like, that doesn't really feel like it's the right answer, but I'll go with this for now. But I'm still going to research it, look at it for myself. This is having to do with yourself. And sometimes it got really lonely and frustrating and even maybe made you angry because you're like, I've spent thousands of dollars, or I finally found people that I can talk to about these things and doing this psychic work and healing, yet I'm still getting the same communication over and over again in different ways. And I still don't feel like I'm getting any closer to understanding what this is. This is what it is. So I'm going to repeat this again because there's a lot of messages. There's 3 messages that I pulled out of this that are important. And I would recommend maybe going back and, you know, going back and looking at this again, because this is one of those communications where you're going to go in and out of your body, or you're going to like, what, like I'm doing it while I'm giving you this information as it's channeling through, so it's like a lot. So 3 points. Number one, shadow does not mean the same thing to you that it means to other people, because you work with light differently. So the shadow and the light, that really has a is significant, because things, the way that you alchemize energy, you alchemize pain, you alchemize everything. You alchemize everything for your highest good and for the highest good of everyone around you, whether you want to or not. When you lift yourself up, you're lifting up your community. You're not responsible for doing that, but it's just kind of how it works. How it works with you. And you've been, what's the word I'm looking for? You've been defensive about that a little bit, or you just walk away from it. It's like, I'm not responsible for healing the world. No, you're not. But the fact of the matter is, when you heal yourself, the people in your near vicinity will be triggered by your healing. Even if you have a thought and it's like, aha, and you're in the grocery store, the people around you are going to pick up on that. And have you been in the aisle and you're just looking at the chips or whatever, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's what that was. And what's happening is you're healing exponentially. Like, I can see things shifting. There was a show in the 60s called Get Smart, and I always loved the opening, how it would open up and he would go through all the doors. Like, the doors would close behind him and open up and close before he got into where he was going in the beginning. I just love that. That's what I'm looking at. And you can probably find it on YouTube or somewhere. Like, if you Google that, Get Smart, and it'll show you that introduction. That's how I'm seeing how you alchemize energy. And it's quick, and doors are opening and closing. We're all healers of different levels, but you're advanced. And when I say advanced, I don't mean separate, better, or other. I mean, you're just advanced. You just came here with a great deal of information on how to do this. And so if you're around, I'll just say, a regular person that's not doing this energy work right now, is not a seeker, is not healing in this way, wow, they're going to run away from you. I can see this happening. You might not even be aware of it, but you're probably going to be aware of it now that it brought it to your attention. So this is just confirmation that when you heal something, it either the people who are around you who are similarly vibrating, they're going to start to like shift in very positive ways, or it'll trigger them so badly that they'll have to get away from you. I see this as positively showing up when you're driving. Like, you're doing so much alchemy work on yourself lately that when you're driving, you're a really good driver. Like, you use your signals, and you're psychic, so you can tell when people are going to do stuff in front of you. So you know how to, what I'm talking about. I don't even have to go into detail on that. You see it, right? So you don't even have to spend too much time focusing on what other people, like, you could feel somebody, like, you're like, okay, that person's not going to use their turn signal, they're trying to get over, they're going to try to get in front of me, so you slow down. So now I see that people are just clearing the way for you. They're not getting near your car. They're not getting near you when you're walking by yourself on the street. doing your exercise, if you're a runner, people clear it out of the way because they're not matching you. So another indication of you're meeting a highly vibrating soul going forward in your life is they'll be next to you. They'll come up to you. They'll look at you. They'll say, "Hey, hi, hello, how are you today?" And and if it continues, like you've met a new friend, or I don't know, even more than a friend, or whatever it is, that's your indication that that person is matching you, or not necessarily matching you, but if they're not running away from you. So you see how where I'm going with this. So in the mainstream culture of the thinking world, the logical world, the earth world, the material world, if you said people are running away from you, you would take offense, right? You would your ego would be involved in that. It's like, oh, well, what's wrong with me? So in this case, it's a soul. This is a soul alchemy communication. This is a good thing. Hey, this is a very good thing that they are running away from you. Let them run away from you. Let them get out of your space, and then So that's how you work with shadow energy. Mm-hmm. Shadow and light are one and the same with you. They're interchangeable. They're not, oh, I've got to go deeper into the deeper recesses of my brain or my amygdala or this and pull out the trauma and this. That's why that doesn't work for you. I mean, it does and it doesn't. Like, it helps you uncover certain layers to get to where you are now. But the deeper stuff, like I can hear this contingent that I'm speaking to in this soul tribe in therapy. I can hear a thought, okay, I'm done. Like, this is not going to go any further. I'm healing the therapist, or I am aware that I need to go, like, my soul is speaking to me that I need to get this information somewhere else. Like, I'm going to need to do greater healing. Guys, please comment. Let me know. Um, yeah, this will help with these communications. This is very specific, and this is nothing I've ever seen before. And it resonates deeply with me. I'm all lit up right now. Trust me, like a firecracker all over my body. And I feel like I'm moving energy out. It's coming out of my feet. It's coming out of my hands. It's coming out of the back of my head. It's like I'm just woo. And nobody's ever said this to me before. Maybe this information is circulating. I don't know. I've never heard of it before. What I'm hearing is, let me go back to that one more time. Three things. Number one, the way that it's been communicated about dimming your light and all that stuff does not have anything to do with how you weren't doing that. What you were doing was protecting yourself, as you know how to do now, by flipping your aura inside out